Hi, I'm Tara Palmeri. I've been a reporter for 15 years, and let's face it, we are overloaded with content on our phone, news and reels. And so I'm going to go through the trending political videos with you and break it all down so you can make more sense of this very historic week. Will the U.S. follow Israel into Iran? I'll break it all down now. Let's get going.
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah,
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
I mean,
why is it relevant whether it's...
Well, because
I love how this ends up going, which we'll continue watching, but obviously Tucker Carlson is the ultimate provocateur. He's a contrarian. That's part of his charm. But I do think that the stance that he's taking right now in some ways compensates for the fact that he supported the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. He got behind George W. Bush. I mean, I knew him back when he had this club in Georgetown called Smith Point, and he was hanging out there, your typical country club Republican. So it's been quite the evolution. But I do think his America First isolationist stance, like almost like libertarian really position, is quite an interesting evolution of Tucker Carlson. But he knows how to make these viral moments. He's a performer at the end of the day. But let's keep watching because it gets really spicy.
You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the
I'm
one
not saying that.
who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that...
We're carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting
this is
Israel.
High stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that was some really great stagecraft, I've got to say. But this is Tucker. This is why he's got a huge hit show. But like I said, go back 15 years, very different Tucker than the one you see right now.
Trump wants it to seem like anarchy, so he goes around, our governor, and he calls in 4,000 troops from the National Guard and 700 active duty Marines. You know, when we had the wildfires that devastated big chunks of our city, he did absolutely nothing. Now that we're in the middle of a non-emergency, send in the National Guard.
Yeah, that's a strong point about the fact that the National Guard were not sent when there was an actual fire, a raging forest fire, the worst that they've ever had in LA. But I don't necessarily agree with Jimmy Kimmel about the idea that there's not anarchy going on in Los Angeles. I mean, they're burning Waymos. They had to get them off the road. They had to install a curfew. I'm not buying it. It's much more, there's a lot more chaos, and that's not to say the National Guard isn't provoking it or the ICE raids, but they are being met with resistance, and some of it is over the top. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, yeah, absolutely no doubt about it.
I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble.
I love what he just said right there. Nobody knows what I'm going to do. He doesn't even really know what he's going to do. He's really still hoping that Iran will come to the table so that he can find a diplomatic resolution. They don't want to drop this 30,000-pound bomb that would actually burrow into this mountain that is housing their nuclear program. So yeah, President Trump is kind of playing this will he, won't he, to try to kind of freak out the Iranians, get them still to the table. But it is kind of funny to hear him kind of play it out in his mind. He really does reveal a lot about how he deliberates, and he's doing it in real time.
Do you have intel that the assassination attempts on President Trump were directly from Iran?
Through proxies, yes. Through their intel, yes. They want to kill him. Look, he's enemy number one. He's a decisive leader. He never took the path that others took to try to bargain with him in a way that is weak, giving them basically a pathway to enrich uranium, which means a pathway to the bomb. So for them, he's enemy number one.
Yeah.
Look, they also tried to kill me, but I'm his junior partner.
Yeah, so Netanyahu's smart. He is using flattery to get to President Trump, calling him a decisive leader, saying that he's the junior of the partners, elevating him. He understands the Trump psychology and how to get Trump on his side. I always find it interesting when I see these world leaders flattering President Trump. But it works. Flattery gets you very far with our president.
Not a one of them gave a damn about democracy when they pulled Biden off the ballot and dropped Kamala Harris in without a single Democrat primary voter voting for him. And you know what? Not a single Democrat is here today because not a single one of them gives a damn about the fact that they lied to the American people for 4 years.
I mean, this is the strongest leg for the Republicans to stand on right now while they are dealing with a potential civil war between the MAGA party, whether President Trump goes into Iran with Israel and abandons his isolationist stance, which is really the core tenet of the America First movement. So, yeah, a hearing on Joe Biden and his mental acuity, that's a great timing. So I could see why they're leaning into it, although I was amused to hear that Sean Spicer testified as if he would know anything about what was happening in the Biden White House. I'll be more impressed when I see them get people who were actually working for the Bidens out there really up in front of Congress and opening up about what they saw.
You said we're returning these bases to their original names. Robert E. Lee. Why are you doing this? I don't understand what the motivation is.
Ask people that serve at Fort Bragg or Fort Benning if they like the fact that the names have been returned. And to a man and to a woman, they will tell you, thank God we're back to Fort Bragg.
Yeah, Pete Hegseth is so obsessed with these culture wars and the DEI, anti-DEI initiatives and changing names. It's like, dude, we're about to possibly go into Iran with Israel, and this is what he's spending all his time doing, and then he's signal chatting with his family war plans. So I just look at this guy as someone who is not a very serious person and yet running probably the largest organization within the United States, the Pentagon. And he's so obsessed with names of camps and buildings and statues. Really? Is that what we should be focusing on right now?
I have very, very strong feelings about protecting journalists, protecting reporters, and not putting them out there with the weather. Because we see it. We see the weather, and I believe you every time. Whenever you say it's a hurricane, and I look outside, I'm like, that look hurricane-like. I don't then need you to send our local newscaster to hold on to a telephone pole while he tells us how bad it is.
Oh, come on. It's great TV. That's why they do it. They put these newscasters in harm's way because they know people want to watch them get whacked in the face. It's like best drama you could watch. It's like Twister, but with your favorite TV celebrity.
Really happened on that Thursday here at Augusta High School that led to Chris Wood's death. The fuck is that? Shit! I'm dying in this country-ass up town.
Oh my God, this is the news anchor voice. It's so funny because when I went into television news, they wanted me to change my voice to sound kind of like that guy too. But I think I prefer his reports in that real tone of his. I think it would be a bit more authentic, and I kind of love it.
Talking to my husband, strictly like a news anchor.
Good morning and welcome to our Paulcast. We start
triggered.
the day with Paul carrying a bag of Milo feces. Time now is 3:04. Paul is at a Nike store looking at clothes that he cannot afford.
Oh my God.
We're coming to you now with a live update. Paul is holding a rather large knife as he cuts red onions. This time we don't see any tears from his eyes, but we will continue to monitor the breaking news.
This is funny.
Back to our top story, Paul.
This poor guy. But yeah, that's the voice. I'm so happy I broke it. I'm so happy I'm free from the voice. Tara Palmeri reporting from the White House. Hey guys, what do you think about this latest video? Obviously, it's different than what I'm normally putting out. I would love if you could recommend other TikToks, other videos you've seen on the internet that I could react to. I'd love to hear what you think. Just leave some comments in the comment section. Like and share this with your friends. We're evolving and changing the Tara Palmeri Show, so love to hear from you. To get my exclusive reporting, you can subscribe to The Red Letter, my newsletter, by going to tarapalmeri.com. The Tara Palmeri Show you can listen to on audio. Wherever you get your podcasts, please rate, subscribe, and review. Leave a review. That would be great for me. And I want to thank my producer, Dan Schiffmacher. See you again soon.